All right, so we have our list done of ideally who we would like our children to be when they leave home and are out from under parental authority. And normally, when I've done this with some ladies in the past, we exchange lists or read them off to each other, and it's been this super time. I've loved it. I'm not gonna go over mine entirely. Rachel, obviously, if you want to email me yours, and I can do the same in exchange. But because I don't know for sure who all would see this, I'm not going to read mine out loud. But I do want to go over maybe a couple, and I have some from the other ladies who've written them, and it was just really cool to see. It really inspired me to see their lists and share those. Um, so, you have things like wisdom, or some of these. I'm not going to tell you whose, but you'll probably see because I get excited about my friends. Um, a willingness to be teachable and to grow continuously. Basic household skills. Um, where's the one I loved? Oh, interest and knowledge about other cultures. Isn't that wonderful? Um, to honor your parents. And of course, that's super easy for my children because here's my halo. Um, so things like that are on our list. And hopefully you've had a good time working through yours. Maybe not a good time, but profitable. As you look over this list, as I looked over my list when I first made it, here are some of the things that kind of stood out to me. First of all, this is a long-term project. This is not something you do over a 3-day weekend, like, adding a deck to the house or something. You can teach your children a lot of things, like how to make scrambled eggs. You can do that in like 5 minutes. How to play Candyland. How to use a screwdriver. Stuff like that. Pretty quick. But really accomplishing the things on your list will take the 18-ish years that you have with your children. That was the first thing that stood out long term. The second thing that stood out is that academics is a very small part. And that's one of the main points to making this list for me and hopefully for you. Is why I stress this list so much. Because homeschoolers, like I said, they always have those nagging doubts about, am I failing my children in their academics? And when you stop and go, how big a part is academics? For me, I have 25 things on my list, and academics is one. So 4% of my list is academics. And I guess you could kind of say a few of them might have academics in them, like being a useful citizen. Yeah, you could do a civics course in school, and that would contribute to that. So if I gave you half of that, that still only brings us up to 6% of the list is academically based. All that to say, don't sweat academics too much. I mean, do your best. Excellence in academics would be a goal, but don't freak out if that is not, if they're not a 4-point student, okay, is really kind of what I'm saying. And if you're not able to, if you don't feel equipped to do everything, now there are ways to work with that, but please remember, again, it's a small part, and there's so many other things that we're teaching our children. Don't let academics squeeze out some things that are more important, like their character, the habits they have. And another thing that stood out to me a lot when I first made my list, and it was kind of depressing actually. I was reading back through it one time. I remember sitting out in my porch swing and looking over everything and going, okay, how do I teach them these things, And as I looked through it, I went, most of the things on here aren't necessarily things I can teach. They're things I need to model for them, that my husband and I will have to be examples of. It's the whole caught not taught thing. Most of them were that way. Vast majority, I haven't counted up. You know, if I want them to honor their parents, I have to honor my parents. And if I want them to, what was the one I read? I have an interest and knowledge about other cultures, then I need to be interested in and seek out information on other cultures and interact with people from other cultures and have my children with me to see that. So in a way, that was really depressing to me, because I was like, oh, I'd rather just have a book that I teach out of, and you know, or hand them and go, here, read this, and you'll be prepared to be a great parent. And I can step back. But you know, it's daunting to go, I have to model all these and do it well. So it puts everything back on me. So, and my husband. Those are the things that kind of stood out the most to me. I don't know if you're going to feel the same way, but I'm kind of assuming that you will. And I hope you see those things if they're true for you, because that makes a big difference on how we will set up your home education journey and system. So anyway, I think that's all I needed to and wanted to say about this. So keep tweaking that list. I go back to it every year, and I leave it up at home. I have it stuck up, and I read through it every so often just to re-energize myself and go, you know, I don't know if I was a useful citizen, or something I realized recently, even if I think I'm a useful citizen, good citizen, patriotic, all that things, am I talking to them about it? Are they seeing me do things? You know, or is it all kind of on the side when they're not around? You know, am I taking them to vote, would be an example, when it's easier to leave them at home with a babysitter or something. Things like that. Just stuff to think through. Sorry this was long and I was very verbal. Talk to you later.